Alrighty, guys. For those guys tuning in, though, and hopefully everyone can hear us at this point, though. So,
Yeah.
hello and good evening to everyone, and welcome to our third episode of F Tier Podcast. So, just a heads up for those of you guys who haven't watched, at least with all the other episodes, we're pretty much going to be talking a lot of anime and video game discussion. And basically, at this point, yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So at this point, I hope you guys find it entertaining, and let's start off with the fact that, like, for those of you guys how, or at least haven't been paying up to date, or at least being up to date in terms of the episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen, particularly episode 22 and 23, we recommend if you like to avoid being spoiled, please tune in about 30 minutes from now, or if you're watching this on YouTube, just skip to the appropriate timestamp. So to start off the show, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Kazo, and I love playing fighting games. Watching anime is the next best thing to at least, pretty much from recommending, from doing all the downtime from all the owning people online. You know how we do. So right now, I've been playing a lot of like Tekken 7, particularly with the new DLC character Lilia. So I'd like to introduce the rest of my squad right now. So to the right of my screen, we have Ichi, my partner in crime for running Ichi Gaming. One of his favorite anime is Fairy Tail. Not only that, too, he's a Super Saiyan God in Dragon Ball FighterZ. And please look out for him, especially if you're planning to play him online when you can. So give it up for Reiichi.
What's up, everyone? Nice to be here.
Ooh. Just interjecting here. Are you sure Fairy Tail is your favorite anime? Would you like
Yes,
to change your
because
answer?
I actually watched it from the beginning to the end 3 times.
Damn.
impressed.
Wow.
Okay, look
Okay,
at
alright.
that.
Okay, I respect that. And to the right of him, we have Thicc Churro. He loves watching anime and playing video games such as Dragon Ball FighterZ into itself. His team of Super Saiyan God, GT Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and Vegeta will take you out when you least expect it. So please watch out for him and pretty much give some love to the viewers out there watching.
Hey everybody, nice to be here again for the third time. It's always
Episode
fun
3,
being here.
baby.
Yeah, episode 3.
Oh man, we're pretty much going through all as much as we can do, especially with so much topics going around. You know how we do. So to the right of him, we also have a new guest, pretty much speaker for us though. He goes under Reggie. Not the fact that he loves all anime genres particularly. His favorite anime is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. He also plays Smash Ultimate and enjoys also playing MK11. So give it up to the viewers for us though, Reggie.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Like he said, Full Metal Alchemist and Brotherhood is just kind of my favorite anime of all time. Been raised on FPS and fighting games, and it's honestly great to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. And last but not least, we have the MTG's finest streamers out there for Calgary's own Offbeat Hero. Give some love to the viewers out there.
That's me. Welcome back. I'm glad to be back. We're here for episode 3 of the F Tier podcast, and I still can't do a quarter circle, but I can turn cards sideways, which is almost the same thing.
It's close. Yeah, it's pretty close.
All right, and now I will finally be passing off the torch to Thicc Churro as we start off our F Tier podcast. Thicc Churro, take it away.
Yeah, so we got a spicy night for you guys. You know, ready for the topics? We got anime, and we got, wait for it, anime.
Oh, I did not know about that. All right.
I didn't see that coming, honestly. That was a curveball.
So it's crazy. So of course, as per every week, you know, save for the last one, we do talk about the weekly episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, which is unfortunately close to an end soon here. But with that being said, we missed last week, so we will be talking about episode 21, I believe, right?
22 and 23.
Oh, right. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, 22 and 23. I can never keep track of it. You can ask Reggie here. I can never keep track of the episodes.
100%.
Dude, every week I have to check to see if I'm on the right episode.
Right?
It's always the newest episode, but you never remember.
I never remember.
I don't want to start watching last week's episode if I can get there too early. You know, I can't be wasting precious seconds of my time.
You'll never get those back.
Exactly. But without further ado, Jujutsu Kaisen episodes 22 and 23 kind of works out that we're talking about both of them on the same breath because they are part 1 and part 2 of I can't forget what the episode is called, but nonetheless, yeah, episode 22, 23, part 1, part 2 of the same the fighting the what we now know is the dead paintings. So we were speculating on the dead paintings on episode 20, and baseball episodes we just kind of like glanced all over it, but I'm excited to talk about it, and let's have our guest speaker here, Reggie, start us off on what he thought episode 22 and 23 brought to the table. What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? Start us off, Reggie.
Okay, well, these ones had a lot of content to unpack. The first thing that I did like was, not including the baseball episode. It was a very good reset from episode 20. It's incredibly hard to follow up with that kind of performance, so just having it give you another baseline was incredibly well needed, which I really appreciated. Also with the subtle foreshadowing and plot details, the cursed object specimens, they've still got 2 on hand, right? So you could always see them come up in the future, like that's another card they can play. As well as the curse having been made by that patchwork curse, in my opinion, what I really liked about it was the curse meeting up under that bridge. It just couldn't seem coincidental. Like they're definitely being watched by the special grade curses. So I can't wait to see where that goes. Overall, what I didn't quite like for episode 22, it was a slow pace. It was a good reset, but it was a little bit too slow, and I just couldn't empathize with Fushigero's backstory. It had absolutely no impact or fragility or anything like that, right? I just, he's a very stoic character, and I have no reason to care about, his sister, and it's very unfortunate. A bit of a hot take here. Any thoughts on that?
I agree. Like, it was presented very comedically, so like when it had a sudden shift, they didn't have like a weight to it, like I don't know how to explain it exactly, but yeah, it was, we started learning about Fushiguro in the school, and he beat up bullies and shit, but the way it shifted towards like a more serious tone, it just didn't work out for me. What do you think of that, Ray?
In terms of Fushiguro, in terms of like the backstory and stuff, it didn't really hit where it should be, just because it was so quick, and like we wanted to know more in terms of episode 22. So when we went and just watching it, it's like you're dealing with so many things all at once. Like you're dealing with the cursed paintings, you're dealing with people dying, and then now you have Fushigero's backstory, and we're still trying to figure out like Sukuna's fingers and all that stuff. So there was really a lot to unpack on just episode 22. So the backstory for Fushiguro didn't even like come close to like, it had to like be like at the back of the mind.
Yeah, I hear you. Derek, what's up? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so those are some actually pretty good points. I liked the 2 episodes overall. I actually enjoyed the kind of shift away from Yuji kind of being the main character. They've kind of, it feels like that they've kind of wrapped him up for now, and they're just shifting now to like the 2 main side characters, right? We got like Fushiguro and I guess Kugisaki left, but it was interesting to kind of get a glimpse, because we really don't know a whole lot about these 2 characters really, and I do agree. It did feel a bit rushed. I did enjoy the big cool fight in episode 23 where he does his big like domain expansion. It's all like incomplete.
Whoa! You're skipping ahead.
I am skipping ahead. I gotta talk about 2023 in like a whole, because it is like a part 1, part 2. So yeah, part 1 I guess was like a little bit slow. We get the like school backstory and how his sister's in danger, but is she in danger? Like, she's already been in danger. She's like in a perpetual state of danger, it feels like, because she's like in a hospital bed somewhere, I guess, knocked out. But I enjoyed it also because it also let Itadori and Kugisaki kind of take or kind of embrace their kind of comedic role, right? Fushiguro really just kind of like did his serious shtick, and then the other two characters would just sit in the background, like as comedic relief, as his foil, right? And I thought that was like super fun, right? They're constantly like in the back being like, "Whoa, you know this guy?" And like, "Who are these punks?" Like, "Yo, you beat them up." Like, I thought it was so fun. I thought it was so funny. And I also I want to pat myself on the back a little bit because I did totally call two things from our last podcast episode. Where one, they are using the paintings to like make or to use like incomplete vessels to power them up. You know,
That's true.
They like
You
had
did.
that guy.
Yep.
He was fucking skewered to the wall or whatever, and they talk about how he had some curse power in him, so he'd be able to like withstand the power of the curse paintings or whatever. And two, the show is heavily inspired by like urban legends and like old like myths, right? They like talk about how like walking over the river is like a symbol of like crossing over a veil, so which I thought was super cool.
Yeah.
Gerard, haven't heard from you, buddy.
For episode 22 and 23, it's basically pretty much Fushiguro and friends at this point, though. I love the fact that like they pretty much put some camera time on him. That at least now it's like, you know what, let's pretty much find some sort of backstory behind him, just like what we've been always like trying to reiterate, like what kind of like story are we trying to tell, or at least what Jujutsu, what are they trying to tell to us. But the end of the 23, it was a little bit of a comic relief, which I love though, because they were like saying, "Don't look at my back," because it looks like it was like the cursed face was there, and I was like, "All right, I see you there," and I'm expecting a lot of big action at this point. So the fact that like they used 22 as a means to pretty much segue into a big fighting scene and stuff, that's what the thing that pretty much caught my attention, and I'm looking forward to it at this point though. There hasn't really been much that I'm not looking forward to, but the fact that like they pretty much I would generally say, just like what like Offbeat was mentioning about it did feel like they were already rushing it, which it's understandable. Like at this point, like at some point you're gonna pretty much establish the means of what kind of like direction they're gonna do for this anime. But overall, I'm looking forward to the next episode coming tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah, it does come out tomorrow.
Damn, all right there.
Yeah, I did enjoy the domain expansion though. I do want to come back to that. Because that was a really cool moment. That was a super cool moment. It's great, like he was just kind of like it really did feel like a desperation move, right? It was born out of desperation, and I really did like that he was facing like we kind of got a glimpse back to like when they were fighting that special grade, right? And this one was even stronger than that, and it just like he was running away, and we got all those flashbacks from like his talk with Skuna. We got the flashback from him, his feelings running away and stuff like that, and that just like propelled them forward to cast his domain expansion. I thought it was a very well built moment, much more so than the backstory. And speaking of the backstory, another thing I just wanted to point out is that I thought Fushiguro's backstory served better as like a fleshing out. It was a better fleshing out for Gojo than it was for Fushiguro. Because like I thought it was really cool, like seeing like him before he became such a stature in the whatchamacallit, in the Jujutsu Academy, right?
I felt like that was probably the best part about the backstory, was the parts where Gojo was involved, especially the not so far back one, where he's training him and he kind of points out his weakness, his kind of suicidal intent, which when you think about it in the back of what happened in the first and second seasons, he does definitely kind of go in with that reckless abandon, trying to get himself killed.
So go ahead.
Sorry. The one thing that I was wondering though is that is it really a desperation move? Like I think with the whole backstory of him before he did the domain expansion was talking about him actually like he's looking to like especially what Gojo said, that the only way he's thinking about that he's not doing so much until like at the end when he feels that he can just sacrifice his life to like win, right? And he was talking about how he doesn't exactly see himself as getting better in the future, so that's why he's like holding himself back. He's trying to analyze everything just so that he can make the win, but if he can't, he's gonna sacrifice himself and everything's okay, right? So I think that the main to me, I think that the main expansion is like him actually saying, you know what, I'm not gonna, whether I die or not, it doesn't matter, but I'm gonna go and get better. And I think that's what to me, I think that's what the domain expansion was all about. Is like him actually trying to realize that he's better, that he can see himself better now instead of just using to sacrifice his life to like win.
Yeah, the way that I like kind of interpreted his backstory is less about like wanting to like die or not, but more that like his character I feel like has been established as like the middle of the road character, right? He's very safe, doesn't take risks, and he does things very like by the books, right? He's very like very like straight edge, if you want to say. And we see that because like he doesn't really take any kind of extreme stance in any direction. See his backstory, he like beats up those like bullies, goes on a monologue about how he hates bad people because they're like bad or whatever, right? And then his like sister, I think it was, you know, he then go and criticizes her for being a good person because she forgives the bad people, right? So yeah, he never really leans towards the like good or bad side, just kind of middle safe ground. That's when Gojiro points out like he's afraid to try anything new unless it's perfect, right? He doesn't want to do, you know, try something new, take a risk that might blow up in his face or make a mistake and cost lives. You know, he always takes the safe option that like he knows will work, which is why we saw him run the first time that he faced one of these like finger special grades. Which, side note, I thought it was super cool that the like generic finger special grades all have the same outward appearance. Mm-hmm. They always manifest as the same kind of form. So it was a neat growing experience to see him use his domain expansion because clearly it's a move that is not finished. It was like half baked. He was like wasn't even sure how to use it. He's getting like bust up himself just trying to control it. I thought it was great. I thought it was super fun.
Randy, you want to say something?
Yeah, actually, to draw off the point with the that special grade curse with the finger you were mentioning, they did mention to make a connection that the appearances of those specific special grades were connected to significant events. You know, the first one appeared relatively the same time that Yuji ate the first finger, right? And that was also back in July, which coincides with the first staggered killing outside of the moving doors, right? And I'm really excited to see where that goes. Like, just because you know there's going to be more. There's more fingers out there, right? Mm-hmm. So this is definitely not the last.
Yeah, they definitely did make a connection. That all seems like a like foreshadow / setup towards like future events that are all going to link back to like the awakening of these fingers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was like good episodes for that to just set that up, to set the stage, right? Like. Because that's how shonens work to some extent, right? It's like you gotta set the stage and then you just build up the hype. And I thought these were very good episodes. Like I said, Fushigro's backstory was a little meh. I think we all can agree that it felt a little rushed. But other than that, yeah, no, like his domain expansion, as we see Mr. Bad Rice joining us from chat. Mm-hmm. He said, "How what's that step flash using the wolf?" The domain expansion was really cool, really cool episode. And the point I wanted to make, I wanted to talk about was you, Derek, mentioned that that Fushiguro is very straight edge, and we saw him starting to break off. Mm-hmm. Break off of that, like when his sister was mentioned, right? He was like he told Yuji and Kurosaki to fuck off. Yeah. I'm gonna wait here for help, but you know we all know that where that was going. Like even they knew where that was going, right? So I think it's really cool that we're starting to have like some meat in the side characters. But let's hear it from Gerard. We haven't heard you speak in a while. What's up?
No, it's been pretty much agreeing to everyone else though. It's like I got no qualms about it though. Pretty much, again, I'm just like here for where this roller coaster ride goes, and wherever it drops or goes up to give us like the best meat of like the fully fledged action is. Oh yeah, I'm there, 100%.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what did you guys make off of the dead paintings? By the way, haven't really touched much on it. Like, what anybody have thoughts on their like just how they appear? Really, like what's the overall feeling we're getting from them?
This is more of a praise of just the show in general, but I do like how each of the bad guys have like a personality. They're not just like generically bad, like these like curse like finger forms. All of the like high grades with curses, they have their own personality, their own like motivations, and so yeah, I would have hated having the curse paintings just be like some generically evil dudes. So yeah, just and like highlighting that at the end of the episode, right, where Yuji and the one curse painting come out of the veil and then accidentally see that guy's back, and then and then like both of them are like apologetic. They're like, "Whoa!" I thought that was super fun and super cool to like not make the bad guys so serious, right?
Ray, did you wanted to speak?
Yeah, the one thing that I actually liked in regards to the cursed paintings too is they're not like, I can see them having personality and they can all look the same, but the fact that they made them all differently, like even though we only saw two, I'm super excited to see what the third one looks like, because there's three of them, right?
Right.
So yeah, but they all have like their own like different style of how they look. So I actually can't wait to go and see what the third one looks like.
Yeah, fair enough. You know what? I think we've all said our pieces here at from 22 to 23. Reggie, any final thoughts?
No, I mean, I'm still out on the whole death paintings thing myself. I don't feel like I've seen enough to really make a solid judgment on them. I'm interested to see where it goes, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
Okay.
I do want to touch on one thing.
All right.
That I've been holding till the end, because it was at the end of the episode, and Bad Rice is on the same page as I am. But if anybody has been watching the Jujutsu Scrolls, they're like the little gag animation at the end, or at the post-credit scene of each episode.
Oh yeah.
There's kind of little like gag shorts. This recent one was honestly my most favorite of them all, and also the best part of this entire episode. It was a blast. It was hilarious. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But the gist is just like Fushiguro gets like hit on, and
I totally forgot about that. Oh my goodness.
We see Kugasaki and Itadori and Goto all do this little bit about him getting hit on. It's so fun. It's so funny. I am looking forward to them every week. I think they're just like a fun, also nice kind of like tension breaker. Oh, they're just great, man. I loved it. I thought it was so funny.
They should have a part 2 at the end of that, though. Honestly, like for the next episode, like for tomorrow's episode, they should have a part 2, like continuation for what happened afterwards.
I would be so for that. Right, and it also gives you a glimpse into how these characters interact, like outside of the kind of generic story world, which I think is fun.
Okay, but the Jujutsu Scrolls cannot be canon, because I remember specifically my favorite one so far has been where the flower special grade, the flower demon, was a like this school outfit gardening flowers, and the volcano guy like he was just standing there because he beat up the bullies that were like bothering her. And the fucking scene was great. It was fantastic. It was my personal favorite so far. I did not see these ones though.
Yeah, I'm gonna file all these scroll clips under the Schrodinger's canon, where they're both canon and not canon. You know, at the same time.
Though if they were canon, I think one of my favorite ones was earlier in this season, when we first saw Gojo fight. Actually, when we first saw his eyes, you know how he like blew up the volcano guy except for his head.
Yeah.
In that scroll, they were playing soccer with his fucking head.
Oh my god!
Right. So
I love those things, man. They're so fun.
they are. They're, like you said, they're good tension breaker. Good way to end the episodes. I have to check out the one where Fushiguro gets hit on though.
You got it, dude. It's so good.
But with that being said, that last point, Ray, why don't you give us your final thoughts on this?
And well, like Kazo said, I'm ready to go and see the ending of it. As much as I don't want the fun to end, I like after this, I'm like, I just want the next season to come out, and I know I'm gonna have to wait. So they better make this next one good.
All right, and Mr. Casso, wrap it up with a nice bow. Tell us what your final thoughts are on this.
My final thoughts for this one, I'm actually at this point though. Let's just say they go through the whole process of the whole season, and they pretty much recap it to us like that. I want a full OVA movie after this. I want full on 90 minutes of pure action and actually wait, I want 60 minutes of pure action and the other 30 minutes of pure just pretty much Jujutsu stroll, all the other funny stuff in the end. Oh man, I'm pretty much all in for it though. But either way though, I'm just enjoying where it's at this point. I have never been I've never been this excited looking forward to next week for every episode coming in. So hell man, whatever happens, this is where it's gonna take us.
Yeah, and this is where we'll end our Jujutsu talk. Look forward to it next week. We're on the final episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen. I know, but it's only one season. It will come back, and we will talk about it because honestly, this anime has been phenomenal.
Blast.
It has been a blast. But now, moving on to our second topic, still anime related, and we're mixing in here some fighting games. We're talking about anime adaptations into fighting games. What makes them good? What makes them bad? Just kind of what makes them work. So with that in mind, let's have an expert on this topic start us off. So let's start off with our lovely host, Kazo.
Oh shoot, that was me. I thought you were gonna put it down to Reggie for this though. But anime to fighting game adaptations. Oh, let's pretty much showcase what we know. The fact that any person who loves fighting games and stuff want to experience it firsthand. Whatever you see, especially think about, let's say, Naruto, for instance, Madara versus everybody else, the whole entire clans of clans and clans. You want to experience that whole thing probably more than once and pretty much reenact that, whether if you through any means of any fighting game. But in terms of bringing it to, adapting that anime to the broader perspective, with video games, is it going to be arena based, let's say Naruto Ultimate Ninja, or is it going to be a full on Dragon Ball FighterZ-esque where it's a full on 3v3 fighting game into that though? So yeah, it's basically one of those things that any anime enthusiast wants to experience. And hell, what if that game has so much following to the point where it becomes a main stage of any, let's say, Evo. That's the thing, because you want to make that especially well known. The fact that, let's say, if the game is good enough to the point where it has a good enough following that it generates that much hype, that's the thing that makes it going. But in retrospect, though, going back to what we were talking about, if what makes them succeed is basically whatever the nostalgia feels, or at least having the anime feel into that, though. Because I'll be honest, I was looking at just recently, maybe about 15-20 minutes, about a half hour ago, I was watching Thicc Churro's matches online, and he just pulled off 100 times Big Bang Kamehameha at this one dude, and he already eliminated him. And for me, I was like, yo, that's basically what I've seen in the anime, and you know what? It feels nice. Doesn't feel nice for for a guy you pretty much killed, but it feels nice overall to the point where I'd be like, you know what? You got my seal of approval.
Right. I think it's important to have the game mimic the anime, have that feeling to it, and just bringing the viewer into or the player, I guess, bringing the player into that feeling of nostalgia. I think you make a very great point here. But let's hear from another expert, Ray Ichi.
Nice. Well, in terms of Kazu started with Naruto, so I can tell you I actually played the Storm series about 4 times and finished it from beginning to end 4 times.
Damn,
So
jeez.
I guess you can sort of say I'm an expert, but what I can say in regards to like what makes them succeed, authenticity. Like if you stay true to like how they look and how they are, and you just put like a good story on it with a good game mechanic, like I think it would succeed. Like even though it wasn't such a it wasn't really well reported and whatnot, but One Punch Man, like the hero nobody knows, I find it, I actually would like to go back and playing it, because if you think about like the whole mechanic of it, it's like pretty fun. It's not necessarily like a it doesn't necessarily bring something new like universally, but I think it's like a good gimmick that it can last a little bit longer. Too bad that the anime like came up short, since and they couldn't bring any more new characters in there. But you know what, like I would like to go back into it. In terms of like games like like Jump Force and whatnot, the fact that like as much as some people are gonna go and like argue with me, but I do find the visuals like really really ugly. But like but they did go and like make so much like they just put so much into it to try and like make it sell, that it didn't really work as well at all. I mean the roster and like their superpowers and everything is like super great, but I just don't think that it works quite as well if it's not authentic enough to the source material.
But then at least it's like, to all the other people who grew up, let's say, watching Hunter x Hunter, you'd be like, oh my goodness, he's in there, and pretty much sells it off. Kind of like a Smash, with, let's say, for instance, when Steve came out, all the Minecraft fans flocked into Smash Brothers at this point. So vice versa with this one. Even though Jump Force is like the president's choice of like fighting game, of anime fighting game as that, it was. Oh, don't get me started on that, dude.
Oh my God.
It was that bad, dude. It was that
If I
bad.
could jump in on the Jump Force hate bandwagon, actually. I
Do
feel
it.
like so what I really think that can make these adaptations really sink is when they're just gimmicky. Like you guys have pointed out, I think their main selling point is the fact that they've got all these different IPs to bring in a bunch of different fans, right?
Yeah.
But like they do a lot of things wrong, like in the 3v3s, for example, sharing a health bar, it's like why, right? And it's overly simplistic. I mean, the skill floor is practically non-existent. It's 6 feet deep, right? But using just the IPs to kind of sell a game and not really putting any polish into it, it's very unfortunate to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say this: I have played a number of like anime fighting games. The Naruto games were okay. Like I did play I forget what they're called, but the Naruto Shippuden games. I played them back in the day with some friends. Actually, I played with Reggie here as well.
Was it the GameCube one or was it the PS2?
No, it wasn't the GameCube one. It was
damn.
the Rising Storm ones. Like I think it was like Rising Storm 3 and
Like
Rising.
Ultimate Ninja Storm?
Right, sorry, those ones. Yeah, the Ultimate Ninja Stores. Like I forgot the names of it, but yeah, like titles, right? I did play them back in the day. I did play like Dragon Ball Ultimate Tenkaichi, and I am playing Dragon Ball FighterZ now. But I do have to say, like, out of all of them, the one that actually brings me into the feeling that I'm playing as these characters has been Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Really?
I really do feel like the Dragon Ball FighterZ was really well put together. It almost feels like they were making a fighting game, but they were like, oh shit, we got the license for Dragon Ball. Like they just made a really good fighting game, and it really does show that they had Dragon Ball in mind and in heart when they made the game, because like you said, I was playing earlier and I Big Bang Kamehameha somebody and just took out their whole life bar, and it just like it just makes you feel like these characters are out here, like it makes you feel like you mentioned reenacting the anime, right? Like we got dramatic finishes, right? We got dramatic finishes that are on a certain stage between two certain characters, right? And then it's reenacting what happened in the anime. And I think that's why my favorite anime adaptation so far has been Dragon Ball FighterZ. I think it's a really well done game, and here's hoping for a season 4. But with that being said, let's have it for somebody who haven't spoken to us yet, Mr. Offbeat Hero.
Yeah, so I'm not super versed with all these games. A lot of my exposure to these anime fighters have been like go to a friend's house, you know, play like split screen on their like TV or whatever, use their terrible Mad Catz controller, that whole deal.
Oh man.
and yeah, it seems like none of them really kind of click or like stand the like test of time very well, right? None of these have become like Smash or like Tekken or like Mortal Kombat, where you see people following the franchise every new title that comes out, and I think the feeling that really kind of takes these like games away is they feel like top-down design, where like I believe Churro mentioned that the Dragon Ball FighterZ or when you play it, it feels like a fighting game that they turned into a Dragon Ball game, right? Where a lot of these anime fighter games are like, okay, we have Naruto, we got to make a fighting game out of the anime. So they then start with the anime and then make a game down from that, which I mean, I guess most of the time ends up being not a good fighting game, because we see in Smash as one of the better examples of the like crossover fighter genre, where it's fairly balanced, but of course each character isn't necessarily a full representation of like where they are from their series, right? It's not like when you're playing Fox, right? It's not like that's a clear representation of like the Star Fox genre, you know. And that's where a lot of these anime fighters I feel like kind of fall flat, is that they try too hard to make the characters feel like they are in the show. But of course, the anime isn't necessarily balanced, right? In a fighter game, you want all the characters to be around the same level. You don't want to have someone who's like clearly better, right? Otherwise, if it was like Dragon Ball FighterZ, you would have like fucking Super Saiyan Ultra Instinct Goku just one shot everybody. I mean, maybe he does.
I mean, he kind of does.
He kind of does.
Maybe.
So, but I would assume that most characters aren't the true representation of their power level in the anime. But
right. And I think that's another reason why I like fighters so much, is like, yes, they're balanced, but there's other ways to show a character besides their power, right? Yeah. Like the demeanor of you know, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is, you know, he's literally like doing this while he's while he's kicking you, like while he's kicking the characters, you know,
yeah.
Like it's just the demeanor that's been shown through, and I think that's why I like fighters so much. I will say that till my grave. I think fighters so far has been the best experience that I've had with an anime fighting game. And I mean, Kazuo over here knows that a couple of people at the dojo here, regular players, love to beat each other, like love to just flex with Yamcha, you know, or Krillin. And obviously, you know, Yamcha standing up to UI Goku wouldn't fly on the show, but that's what makes the fighting game fun.
I like to iterate on that too. Shout out to Mr. BLT for that Yamcha plug right there, though. But for Dragon Ball FighterZ, though, at least as an anime fighting game into itself, they had at least the means to pretty much single out like what kind of fighting game are we doing, though. Whether it's, let's say, Tenkaichi, which is like almost arena based into itself. You know, because the third person, you're pretty much going behind a person's back. There's also the 2D-esque one, which was like Hyper Dimension or Dragon Ball Super, if you remember back in the day, and all that stuff. They pretty much dabbled with the 2D, 3D aspect, which for Budokai. They pretty much run the mill of like what kind of like Dragon Ball Z caters to the fans. Because I remember when it came out on like Super Nintendo, and I thought that Dragon Ball Fighters, or not Dragon Ball Fighters, but like Hyper Dimension, like even before that, especially was the shit back in the day, you know? Because like who else made Dragon Ball Z to, you know, as good as it is, you know? And then going to pretty much fast forwarding to Dragon Ball Fighters now, you know, it not only it had that sort of anime aesthetic that pretty much people look forward to. It pretty much you could pretty much do a full combo and make it look good while doing so. So it really pretty much showcases to the fans, and I would say it pretty much pays like homage to the fans through all, not only just through Dragon Ball Z fans, but to all the other anime like fans in general. That this is pretty much what a fighting game adaptation would look like.
Yeah, so it seems like a lot of these anime fighting games kind of fail on like mechanics level, right? They kind of suck you in with like the familiar IP, right? You see like Naruto, you're like, damn, I want to play a Naruto game. I want to have the be like classic Naruto versus Sasuke battle in my room against my friends, right?
Right.
But it seems like that these games they just don't have that kind of intricate, high level fighting kind of depth that like Dragon Ball FighterZ has. So I mean, I'll pose the like question is, how would you feel if like a original IP game such as like Tekken or Street Fighter, if you just like reskinned it, you know, take the like existing mechanics and then just like reskin it as a like Naruto game or as like a Bleach game or something.
I mean, that's kind of what the next topic is. So good timing on that. It's just the second part of this topic is like, so how do these anime games separate themselves from, you know, original IPs? Like Derek was saying here, you know, like Tekken, Mortal Kombat. Like how do these anime games you stand out? And I think the obvious answer here is, as Reggie was saying earlier, is that, you know, they already have a following. They already have a fan base. They already have a following that's like, hey, you know, like, you like this anime, here's a fighting game on it, right? And I think that's the biggest separator of the two. But let's hear it once more from Reggie. Hasn't you know, you've been quiet back there. What's up?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna build on that there. I think that, you know, games like Tekken and Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and all that stuff, they've got their own space, and for these anime adaptations to try and take over that space with a reskin would just be kind of foolhardy. They've got everyone knows what they've got. Like, they're more of an arcade or casual style fighting game for the most part, right? Some can be excluded from that, but you know, they put up their own space with their own little demographic, and they thrive inside of that, right? And I think that's super important for them to have, just to separate them from the already established fighting game genre.
Yeah, and as a fighting game, you know, like enthusiast, or connoisseur, I guess at this point it would be.
Oh, wow.
As a fighting connoisseur, Ray, what would make you want to play, you know, a fighting game from an anime as opposed to, you know, a new Tekken, a new King of Fighters, you know, so on and so forth?
I've actually, in terms of that, I would actually agree with the offbeat hero here. Is the mechanics, right? Like you don't want to see like Goku in a Tekken 7 game and all he does is like punch and kick. You want to see him like power up and like do Kamehameha blast and like, you know, like do something like super cool that's like from the anime itself. So yeah, so I do agree with the offbeat here. Like, yeah, it's pretty much the whole mechanics of it. Aside from that, yeah, like just trying to in terms of reskinning a game, I wouldn't reskin it with the current games now, because if you think about it, back then, like Street Fighter was like the epitome of like all fighting games. Everybody copied it and whatnot. Like, and you know, you just look at like the Super Nintendo games. There's like, I don't know, maybe 15 to 20 different video games just skinned off of Street Fighter with just different characters. I mean, some of it worked, some of it didn't, but you know what, like they saturated the they saturated the market that way.
Hold
But
on.
yeah,
Hold on.
like
So let me stop you there though. What about for King of Fighters though? Like since they've pretty much been on as pretty much almost it's the same timeline as like what Street Fighter would when it came out though. Wouldn't that mean who's
Yeah.
copying who then?
well they have mechanics, right?
Right.
Yeah, because they were the first like 3v3 fighter that's, even though it's still 1v1, it's still like, you know, like, yeah, it had the mechanics, so that's how they started building. It wasn't that like they were trying to go and mimic something out of Street Fighter, but with King of Fighters, they're like, yeah, we want to make something that's ours. So they thought of, well, what mechanic can we do to like separate it from that?
All right.
Attaching to that mechanics idea, that's another thing that these kinds of IPs, they don't have the limitation of, is they don't have an established brand. They can mess with a bunch of different mechanics. Like one's Justice, for example, that expands on the Z-axis when fighting. You know, you've got that whole wall running ability. Certain Marvel games, they bring indestructible environments. You know, you can pick up a bunch of things and throw them and use those for fighting as well, which you don't see in the OG fighting games.
That's true. I mean, there was also like Injustice. You know, Injustice. It's not quite an anime, but you know, still
American anime.
Yeah, American.
Close enough.
Established from an established IP, right? They do try to bring some interesting mechanics to it. Again, like, and I think personally, my opinion is that it all boils down to flavor, right? Like, if you have a good base game, like, it really just boils down to the flavor of the game. You know, Mortal Kombat has had like the gimmick was to make the game like as brutal as possible, right? Like that was like their main mechanic, really. Like, you could almost say this was like the game was just brutal. It was just in your face, you know, brutality, right? And and what separated and what made it stood out, it wasn't that it was just violent, but that the characters had flavor to them. Like, who doesn't know Scorpion's, you know, famous line, "Get over here"? Like right? It's just, and that's what separates them. It's the whole flavor of what you bring to it, and I think that's where a lot of the anime fighting games miss the mark. Is that there's not a lot of flavor going. You know, that they try to like just cram in as much as possible from the anime without really thinking about like the individual flavor of characters and why people like them, right? What do you think, Gerard?
The fact that like the anime already has a following, like we all pretty much can agree on already, you know, just like what we've been playing through, like for Dragon Ball FighterZ, people already pretty sure that all of us already seen it, you know, that we can live it by. That the fact that like with Dragon Ball Z, or at least anime in general, they have the chance to actually move to different genres. Let's say I'm gonna give, for instance, action adventure games or full RPG-esque games, though, like fully fledged. You know what I'm saying? So at least with that being like, take a look, like, okay, I'm just, because of the fact that Dragon Ball Z was still pretty much, it's a big hit for us, I'm gonna pretty much put it on the map, saying like Kakarot, for instance, the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot game itself, that was a single player action RPG into itself. You pretty much go through all the premise of the anime, but that's basically what sells that compared to, let's say, Tekken. You know, Tekken has a big following in terms of like the story mode. It's literally, it has so much generations upon generations of like, you know, which I guess field of view of you trying to, or at least first person view of which story is canon. Are you following through Kazuya's, like the main character like line, or are you following through someone else's? That's the thing that they haven't registered though, with the exception of like small game modes though, that, you know, they did have like a small beat 'em up though, but I mean like a fully fledged action adventure game like that actually has the whole story mode is a totally different thing. That pretty much sets that apart from other mainstay, you know, games like Mortal Kombat, Tekken, all these
Mhm.
things. Anime games have the chance to actually pretty much sell themselves to a different type of genre that people can pretty much look forward to, whether it's through MMO or other things. So that's the thing that goes beyond that.
Yeah, no, and I just wanna quickly touch. I want to touch on what Chad is saying here, and that a lot of like the issues that we're seeing from anime games, at least in the past, is the fact that both Bandai and
Ba-
what's the other
Bandai
one?
Namco.
Yeah, yeah, like they both like Bandai owns a lot of like the IPs. Well, not owns, but is partnered with a lot of the IPs from from anime. So they just like copy and paste and recycle the same game. Yeah, Chad has made a very good point of that. And Arxis, like Arxis is the one that made Dragon Ball Fighters, and they've been knocking it out of the park. And with the recent announcement and opening of the beta for the new Guilty Gear, like everybody it's been the talk of fighting games, right? Arxis has been knocking it out of the park, and here's hoping that more companies like follow suit, as an example. Right, and like I'm actually excited for the new Guilty Gear. It looks really, really cool. Yeah, what do you think, Ray?
Yeah, in terms of what the chat was saying, I do agree with all of that, because if you think about it, they took the same with Jump Force. They took the same route as what they've had like the last two iterations of it, except they're like, oh, let's try and make it better, but in a way they sort of failed. But I think that they do need to let other companies that actually knows like the fighting games and how it and will actually go and research like the anime and how to make that work. CyberConnect 2 made the Storm series, and they were very successful with that because they incorporated a lot of like the anime into it, and it really worked. So in terms, case in point, the last part of it, I do think that they need to go and start letting other companies like try and make something out of a game, but they do still need to do it right.
I mean, each company have their own formula to at least get that going. But the fact that they have all the resources, I mean, pretty much they could just watch every other episode of any anime and be like, you know what, we need to take this move from what he did earlier and then incorporate it to that. So yeah, they should definitely. I mean, like not just through Arxis, but hell, maybe even like a small dev team, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Ben or Namkai, or some people call them Bamco. They really are the like mass production of like game publishers. They really do just kind of churn out these like yearly semi-annual games every couple months that are just like more or less a cash grab on an existing IP that diehard fans are probably going to pick up. And not that there's anything wrong with that. You're just not going to find the kind of love and quality that you see in some of these other fighting games that have like dedicated teams that like know what they're doing. There's a good chance that maybe just a lot of these Bandai Namco fighters are just done by the same team who do like their like JRPGs, right? And they're just like, I don't know, we know the JRPG part, but we don't even know like the fighting part. We'll just and then they just like wing it with what limited knowledge that they have. I don't know if we can really blame them for that, right? It's just what they've been like served up. So I would love to see some of these IPs be given off to other studios, like we've seen with Arxis and Dragon Ball FighterZ. I mean, as you guys have said, they've basically single-handedly made arguably the best Dragon Ball Fighter game that has ever come out. Which is clear from just like the worldwide success and the huge following and this big tournament circuit going around. Like it's crazy.
I mean, it is like I can't remember exactly how many people watch like the the Battle Hour,
yeah.
where Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta was released. But you know, even on Twitch, like Dragon Ball FighterZ is still like still has a big following. It still has a large amount of player. Like it still has a large player base. You know, it's cool. It's and the thing about these kinds of games is like when they succeed, people follow with it, right?
Mhm.
And now we've seen a good anime fighting game, so like here's hoping that people follow through with it. You know, they'd have like a good base for the game, as well as the flavor with it. I'm hopeful for the future, right? I may be
It's
deluding
possible.
myself. It's possible.
We've seen
right?
it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, maybe we had a good fighting game. Maybe we'll have a good anime real life adaptation someday too.
Shout out to Robert. Naruto.
Whoa, baby steps there.
Okay, my bad. But speaking of game companies, and speaking, and as Ray has brought up, CyberConnect 2. Yes, they don't. They haven't made a Naruto game. I think they did make one last year, if I'm not mistaken. But they recently announced that they are making. They announced and showcased a new fighting game for another anime. One of my personal favorites, and I think all of us agree that it was quite a good anime. They announced the fighting game for Kimetsu no Yaiba Demon Slayer. And I've been looking at it, it was a very, very short video. But it looks really, really good, and it looks like they're bringing back that feeling that the Naruto games brought. You know, they're still making the 3D arena game, 1v1 format. I think I can't remember exactly. It has been a while since I saw the trailer, but I think they are doing the assist system as well. I can't, like I said, I can't remember.
Basically, it's like they're pretty much putting in the system just like what Storm Series has been doing, and pretty much effectively at that point.
Mhm.
However, taking to the fact that, like, I mean, with me and Reggie, we've been playing like Storm Series for quite some time. You could pretty much say it's pretty much a modded version of what it's supposed, but that's what the anime is, and it is a cash grab. But I would rather have that as like a Dragon Ball FighterZ-esque portion of it. That's the thing. Like, I don't know. It's with arena fighting games, you tend to be broken in terms of, let's say, you can pretty much go over, let's say, a full neutral grab or neutral jump, and then pretty much start to combo there.
Mhm.
And it just loses a lot of. I mean, unless they find some way to, like, in terms of mechanics, to pretty much fine tune it. Is right now. I mean, it's granted, it's just a small little gameplay snippet. Otherwise, I'm. You need to give us some flavor, man. I'm just saying. No? I'm just. You look. Okay,
They do need to.
Like, even looking back, though, I mean, like, any fighting game can, like, pretty much justify, or at least all the devs can look at Dragon Ball FighterZ and be like, you know what? Let's use that tool and bring it to any other fighting game. Naruto, for instance, though, like, put it in there. I already have my whole team set up for that, though, already. Yo, that's it.
No, yeah. What's your team?
What's
the Naruto Fighters team?
Oh my! No, I'm telling. Okay,
This will take forever.
no, it will not actually, because I already have them set up.
It's three.
It's three. It's same thing for Storm. Main team. Period. Number one, Itachi. He is my point. Okay. Like, think about it. He builds meter. He builds meter. He has setup. He can actually, like, put up like his genjutsu already, though. Like, look into his eyes. Yo, he has setup game right there. Period. Case in point. Secondary. Next person on the line would be Minato. Right. You always have something to like pretty much establish the ground, especially from the genjutsu. You know what? Why not have the like the yellow flash, pretty much put up as a setup base, going for an OTG setup. Feel right? And then my last but not least, pretty much at this point, I would just put in there. You know what? I was just finicking between either Sasuke, but you know what? Let's put in Rock Lee. He'll be my anchor.
Rock Lee will be the anchor.
Rock Lee with the anchor. Never.
If we're thinking this of like Dragon Ball Fighters but Naruto settings, you gotta specify which Rock Lee. Are we talking like Rock like Gara versus Rock Lee?
Hold on.
Or are we talking like
open gate. Open the gate. When you go
the
full
ninja
open
word.
gate, pretty much,
okay.
like that. When you go for like he's using all his taijutsu into itself, though, he will definitely build meter. And remember, look back at the anime when he dropped like all his weights down. See how fire that is? That is level 3 at his finest, though. He has that though. Extra damage for anything else, though. Plus extra damage for just like pretty much having Guy Sensei just be on the screen for no reason. Word.
Okay.
Sorry, my bad. Spoiler alert.
Let-
My bad. We totally off track. My bad.
Let's hear from another Naruto fan. Well, would you say you're a fan, Reggie?
Well, yeah, sure, as much as anyone. I mean, I've seen it like 3 times without skip fillers, mind you, but
let's hear from a fan, Mr. Reggie. You played Fighters. Now,
Right.
now we got Naruto thrown in the mix. What's your team of 3?
okay,
Naruto Fighters.
okay, this one that's easy question.
Bro.
Open up with Hinata. Mid's going to be Minato, and anchor is my guy.
See, Minato
Hey,
always
good.
so good, man. Even he knows
Yeah.
though. That's like top tier quality.
He's a ridiculous character.
He's a ridiculous character.
Like the amount of speed he actually has, it's just like the smallest opening your opponent leaves can be capitalized on with him.
It's true. And then why is Guy the anchor?
Well, honestly, he's just kind of my main, the one I bring out when I'm struggling, and let's be honest, he's probably a bit S+ tier, bordering on broken.
Wait, which guy are we talking about? Is it like before,
Guy Sensei.
Yeah. I know, but like let's say which arc is he doing? Like, if he's like the younger Mike guy, or if he's the wheelchair guy, from Boruto.
If it was a wheelchair version, I would be playing him, believe me. But no, it's the Great Ninja Arm Work, I believe, the Harajuku, I believe.
Okay.
Oh yeah, dude,
I like
that's one of the coolest moments in the Naruto franchise. Ray, another Naruto fan, hit
Let's
us
go.
with it.
Let's go.
What's your team?
All right. Let's see. For me, like, as much as I'm gonna go and say Minato, because he's like the UI Goku of like. but
But he
for me, I'd
died.
probably go with.
He's reanimated, man.
Yeah. For me, let's see. I'd probably go with the first Hokage for a point. I'd probably use, let's see, third Hokage for a mid, and I would actually go with the fifth Hokage as my anchor.
Oh, okay.
Yo, okay. All this talk about the Leaf Ninjas though. Is there any love for all the other like villages?
Hey, you picked your team.
I picked mine. I know, but I'm just talking about for everybody else though. I mean, like.
You already picked your team.
All right. Can I choose my secondary team then?
Like I said, this is gonna take a while.
Oh man.
We'll come back to it.
Alright, sounds good.
Upbeat Hero. You have not played FighterZ, but you've seen it.
I've seen Fighters.
Are you a fan of Naruto?
Ooh, well, here it is. I've never watched Naruto.
Oh shit!
Oh!
I know about it.
Dude,
Oh!
So someone call 911. Gerard's about to faint.
Oh!
Gerard's about to have a heart attack.
Oh! Yo, my pulse is racing right now, dude. Heartbeat's racing.
And to play the Storm series.
That's it, man.
Everybody has one of the big 3, you know? You're
Okay.
either Naruto, you're either One Piece, or you're Bleach. And I'm Bleach, okay? I didn't watch One Piece or Naruto, so
That's fair.
But I will answer the question anyway. I
Okay.
will try my best. I don't watch Naruto, but I'll pick the characters that I've seen who I think just look the coolest, you know?
Okay.
We'll go with I think his name is Kakashi, the white-haired, no eye guy.
Yeah.
Alright.
'Cause, I mean, he's cool and he's a pretty boy and it's great. So just Put him in first.
Okay. Oh, okay. I like it.
Lead. Gotta
Let's
lead
go.
strong.
I like it.
Second slot is that blonde girl who also has like the one side of her face covered.
Oh, Ino.
You
Yeah.
know.
Sure.
Okay.
She's pretty cool. Let's put her in number 2.
Okay.
And then
I can tell he's
third
already.
spot-
I can tell Offbeat Hero's already cheap enough already with this squad.
This is it. This is all I know. Third spot, that like sand guy. Is that like sand
Gara.
bending, you know?
Ooh, Gara.
Gara,
Yeah.
Let's put him in number 3 because I mean that seems pretty broken. Let's just put a fucking earthbender right in the third spot. Easy.
I mean,
That's
he's
it.
you know, fucking Earthbender. He's got a point there, you know.
Okay.
But all right, you Leaf Village, basic bitches. Okay, for me,
What we
you
got?
guys are sleeping on my boy
Who?
and the OG. Well, like I know the OG is the Sharingan, but the fuck, I forgot the name already, dude. It's been so long since I've watched Naruto. But Neji, Neji.
He has the Byakugan
With
though, yeah?
Yeah, the Byakugan, that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it's
yeah,
called. Thank you. Yeah, dude, the Byakugan in a fighting game would be so fucking cool to see, and I would put him as my point.
He's
one
literally
of my
Tien
favorite
though.
characters.
Yo, the way he plays is like literally Tien.
Will he?
He does that.
I
He's an
guess
auto
so.
combo. He does this,
that's
like,
true, that's
just-
true. He
yeah, yeah,
does
yeah.
the does the little thingies.
The
yeah.
64 hits of like try something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The 64 palm hits. Or
There you go.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was slick.
Yeah, Neji first. In the midpoint, Killer B, because he was a very, very fun character that I really enjoyed watching. I thought he was great. And for the anchor, the one that's gonna hold it all down, I don't remember his name, but it's for the anchor. It would actually be Danzo.
The one who has like shotguns like this, like all these.
Got
Got all that?
dude.
Okay. All right. I
Right,
see you.
like,
I see you.
He'd be a he'd be a really cool character to have in Naruto fighting game, I think.
Sure. Okay. But
You
same. I don't know. I like. Okay. I'll. He
Like,
died
don't
fast.
get me
though.
wrong, I love Itachi. I love Kakashi. I will give you guys points for not. I will give everybody points. Pat us all in the back for not picking Naruto.
I was thinking about it too because like Hokage Naruto already has all the tail beasts. You know, like that is.
Or Sasuke.
Yeah, but that's already S plus tier, like S, like top of the tier. Like, that is God tier upon God tier. You know, that's too high to the point where it's like he would end up being banned and then he will get nerfed on like day 1 patch.
He's like pre-patch UI Goku, like times 5.
There you go.
That
His
is,
own tier.
Yeah,
Anime
above
character,
Pinnacle.
at least.
but I like the
Yeah.
fact that you're thinking outside the box and putting Killer Bee. You know what? Because like that,
Hey,
I
Killer B
respect
and
that.
Danzo,
I like
man.
that.
You guys are sleeping on the voice. You guys sleeping on Neji too.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
but I will say this: Naruto does have a large roster, and it'd be very fun to see a. I personally am not a huge fan of 3D fighters, as I said in the past. So I'd be all for a 2D fighter game about Naruto. I think it'd be very fun. You know, but then again, like, well, it's not popular anymore. Like, it is, but
It's not
now
cool
we're.
anymore, dude.
But
Right,
yeah,
it's not cool anymore.
it's
It's all about Boruto now.
what
How
about
about
Naruto though?
They-
Oh man.
But derailing here, back to the topic at hand.
Yes.
What were we talking about before? We were talking about the new Demon Slayer fighting game,
Slayer
and
fighter,
with that in mind, there's not only the hype for the fighting game, but for the movie finally having an official date. After all these times, having an official date to be released
Next month,
for
right?
English-speaking audiences. That's right. It's next month. It's April.
Oh
Hell
my
yeah.
gosh. Let's go.
Super hyped.
Provided movie theaters open. It's April, movie theaters, June, available online. I mean, and I've spoken for I've spoken for a little while. Let's take a break from me. Reggie, I know you and I have talked a lot about this. Tell me, how hype are you for the movie?
Honestly, I mean, obviously I'm excited for it, but it's not like it was before when I absolutely couldn't wait or stand the wait. I've had some time to acclimate to the state of not having it, and that's the problem with like a lot of these anime movies is that they release in Japan and then 6 months down the road then they'll come to Western audiences. But I'm really glad that there's a date coming out, and I'm just super excited to be first in line for those tickets. Right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. And what do you expect from the movie?
Well, honestly, I've got a bunch of like little theories to myself, right, that I've just been cooking up watching, all three versions of the trailers like 3 different times a piece, right?
Oh, jeez.
I'm really excited to see the addition of Upper Moon to actually give Rengoku like a purpose for being there instead of just murking on Lower One, because I'm really excited to see how the main trio 3 take on Lower Moon 1. Leaving Rengoku to have his own personal battles. Maybe we'll see what goes on there, and just exploring the idea behind the juxtaposition of Tanjiro's both his water breathing as well as his fire breathing, right? Because it just makes no sense under normal circumstances that he possesses both, and I'm hoping it explains a bit more about the black sword in that sense as well, because Gyu's got a blue sword, and Rengoku has a red sword, but he's got a black one, so why?
Yeah, maybe we'll shine some light onto the black sword. Ray,
they did highlight that, yeah. Earlier in the anime, yeah, when he got the black sword, right? They did comment. They're like, oh, interesting. And I've been waiting. I waited the entire anime to find out what the black sword was, and they never gave it to me. I was like, what the fuck?
But they gave you something better, dude. They gave you episode 19.
It's true.
Ray, what's up, man? Are you excited for the movie?
Oh, dude, I'm super excited. The fact when they actually just announced it, I actually just rewatched the whole series.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I'm super excited and stoked for this. We've seen, we haven't really seen too much in regards to the rest of the Hashiras, and that's what I'm actually super stoked for. Is I want to see how the Flame Hashira actually fights, just because I've been trying to, even though I see the mangas and stuff, and I want to read it so bad, but I want to go and see it in action in anime. So that's why I'm trying not to read it, but I definitely want to go and see how the Hashira actually fight, and I think this one would be a really great showcase for some really cool fighting moves. So I just hope that it does. I'm pretty sure it won't disappoint, and yeah, I just can't wait.
Yeah, and in that same vein, when I was watching the anime, and I showed, I can't remember who I showed. I showed one of my friends episode 1. We streamed it online. We watched it, and I was just like, "Fuck! I have to watch it again because episode 1 is so good." But in that same vein, we only got to see the Hashiras for 2 episodes. Well, 1 episode really. We only got to see him for 1 episode. Of course, aside from the Butterfly Hashira and the Water Hashira Gyu, the other Hashiras we've only got to see for 1 episode, and I've been craving more from the Hashiras. They all have really colorful personalities, and they all seem really well written. I'm especially curious about the well, actually, I don't really know his title, but the one with scars all over him. He was just being barbaric and just swinging his big dick all around, and then the master came in, and this man just his IQ just skyrocketed, respectful, calm demeanor, and I think all the Hashiras have shown to have very, very colorful personalities, and I'm really excited to see one of them in such a big role. I'm really excited for the movie. I can't wait. I really can. I want to see it. I want to experience it, and I'm gonna watch Demon Slayer again because we're talking about it. I just have to relive it. But Derek, what are your thoughts? Are you excited for the movie?
I am very excited. So I've seen a couple anime movies in theaters now, and
wow.
of course I don't know if it'll be safe to go out then, but if it is, definitely highly recommend going out to see it. It is a very unique experience to watch an anime movie in a theater. But part of the reason that I'm especially stoked for this movie is because I don't know if you guys have watched any other anime movies. The most ones that I've seen are like Bleach and anime movies, but there's ones for Naruto and there's ones for like Inuyasha if you're like old school.
Right on.
But the big thing about those movies is that they're all non-canon, right? Or the ending has some sort of bullshit MacGuffin way to like write it off so that no one knows. It's like, oh, like everyone forgot their memories. That actually happened in one of the Bleach animes where like at the end of the movie there was like a memory wipe, so it's like nothing in the movie mattered. And I was like, what? Like the movie was fun, but what was the point?
Right.
So what's special about this Demon Slayer movie is that one, they announced it, or they like teased it at the end of the last episode of Demon Slayer, which was like what, 2 years ago now, maybe. Which means that they had it planned and it was ongoing in production before the series finished airing, right? Because when we see anime air, they've essentially finished or mostly finished the entire anime. It's not like a live show where they're like filming it week to week. It's pretty much done.
Right.
So they had already committed to making the movie before the anime was done and before it had this huge following, huge success. And so that means it's not just like a cash grab. It's not just them being like, oh, well, cash was on Demon Slayer, we'll make a movie, make some money off it, whatever. And them basically making it canon, having this be an actual part of the story is so cool to me, having just not seen that a lot with other anime movies, where it's something that this like train arc is not really big enough for a season, because we might see some anime where the light novel or the manga is out, and we'll see them either like stretch or like shrink down certain arcs to fit it within their like timeline of 20 episodes, whatever it is. And both those feel bad. Either it feels stretched out or it's like shrunk down. I know a big one was if you watch Tokyo Ghoul, some of the arcs in that anime, they like crunched it to like 2 episodes when it was like several volumes long.
Yeah.
So them being able to just like both see that like this arc probably isn't big enough to like include within a season, but also small enough to fit in a movie is just mwah. So I have very high hopes for what this movie is gonna like end up looking like, and I'm just like, I'm ready for it. I'm so ready. It has such a cool visual style as Demon Slayer does, and I've been waiting for these characters to come back and some animated, some more crazy adventures for so long. Like, oh, I am ready, dude. I'm so ready.
Yeah, no, I'm ready too, and I just want to throw it in there, just throw it in there that Dragon Ball actually has had canon movies in the past.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like Bardock's movie was canon, and then Akira Toriyama said, "Fuck you, that's not canon anymore," and then made the newest Dragon Ball piece to come out. It's the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie.
Yeah,
that's canon.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's all like
Been good.
it's really good. Yeah, it's not like it doesn't necessarily pretend to the main story, but it adds flesh, it adds background stories, right? But super excited for the Demon Slayer movie, like you said. I think it's really cool that they're going off with making it canon, right? And just not working it into the seasons. It's just like, we're gonna have the movie, we're gonna have season 2. Yeah, I think it's really, really cool. And like you said, they committed to it before Demon Slayer blew up. But with that said, Gerard, what are your thoughts?
Demon Slayer, pretty much everyone's been waiting for it. Not only the fact that, like, you know, to everyone else, it serves as justice to all the anime fans, and not only through the Demon Slayer fans as well, but just people just generally waiting for a fully fledged anime movie that pretty much right now, if I recall, looking back at it, it did top out as one of the highest grossing animes, and that was just from Japan only. So the fact that it pretty much beats out all the other ones, and pretty much puts this as high regard as like not only through like one of the best storylines, the best animation in general. It literally serves its purpose to entertain the fans in general. And I would generally say, I mean, you know what? It's been long overdue. I was actually in the beginning when they pretty much put it on, like in Japan. I was actually expecting that we would get it at the same time, only to find out that we all been bamboozled for like how long up until spring. So, but I mean, hell, it's next month, so I'm not worried about that. But
6 months after the release in Japan.
But, there's something to be said about them managing the hype very well, which, keeping people invested. Points like Derek has made, like making it the perfect spacing for a movie, right? Like, and when you get a movie, it's not like an anime, you get 20 minutes every week and you got to wait with that little break. With that movie, you're going to get this whole arc. It's going to be packed into an hour and a half to 2 hours, 4 to 6 episodes. And it's just going to smack you right in the face all at once. And I don't think it's going to stop, right?
Yeah.
I love their decision to continue with Studio Ufotable, however you pronounce that, right? They've got a fantastic track record. I mean, if the Fate Zero Fate Stay series is anything to go off of, it's going to be visually amazing, right? They've brought back Lisa, so the soundtrack's going to be amazing as well. I just think all of the publicity in general, like you said as well, Kazo, is with the all-time grossing number one anime movie, and it blew that record out of the water in 10 days. So I think it's gonna live up to hype.
Well, actually, fun fact, it not only blew up the record of the most grossing anime movie, it blew up the record of highest grossing movie period in Japan.
Oh, what?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Dang.
In Japan, not just anime, just movies period. Blew it up out of the water within their first 2 weekends. Yep.
That says a lot, especially if you already set that bar up. Now every anime needs to be pretty much showing up. You'd be like, yo, we're getting shown up. We need to match up to what they're doing. Otherwise, this is going nowhere.
Right. And I mean, I think there's a lot to look forward to here. I mean, no spoilers here, but so supposedly, if you believe manga readers, season 1 was supposedly the weakest arc of all time in the entire series. Yeah, apparently, even episode 19, it was really underwhelming, and the developers, the animation studio, really improved on it. Whereas the Demon Train arc is supposed to be, in the public opinion's eye, basically the all-time best arc, right? So we're only going to be seeing it getting better from here.
Wow.
Here I'm learning that apparently episode 19 was a fucking snooze fest. So I mean, I don't even know what to expect here.
You thought that was good? That was a fucking joke, dude.
Yeah.
Demon Train, supposedly it's a joke. It's great in its own right, mind you, but Demon Train is supposed to be an 11 out of 10 compared.
Wow.
Ooh, now, I'm excited.
I can see why, especially with the movie and everything else, though, it just pretty much the whole PR and everything else. So you just pretty much, you know what? Let's bring in that the fighting game, or at least more content, more stuff that people will be like, you know what? I need to get involved in this. This is cannot if you're on. This is pretty bad, but if you're already on the train, might as well keep running it, just like how this movie is.
And with that season 2 announcement coming out for this fall season, right? It's just not going to stop coming, right?
Oh, we got Demon Slayer this year, boy. We got Demon Slayer for everyone out here, and I want to ask you guys. I want to ask you guys on this. Avengers Endgame was a big thing over here in North America, right? Everybody did a very good job at not spoiling Avengers Endgame. They gave it a grace period. I think it was 2 weeks or something like that.
About
2
that.
weeks, spoiler free of Avengers Endgame. Nobody tells anybody shit because let's be honest, the theaters were fucking packed for that movie.
Oh yeah.
So with that in mind, what's our grace period going to be before we bring it on the podcast? Because I want to talk about it the moment I get out of the theater.
It's 2 weeks feels about fair, right?
Yeah, I'll say 2 weeks for like the movie, but season 2 comes out, fair game. You know,
Yeah.
all those
Fair
episodes,
game.
Just go
like,
for
week
it.
to week, done so.
The episode comes out on Thursday night on Japan. It's like we watch it over here in the morning. We
Yeah.
talk about it on the podcast. Fuck you.
Priorities, man.
Will this be, or will this overtake Jujutsu?
I mean, if
We got some fans here, man, who might be like, you know what? This is Jujutsu is anime of 2021. So, like,
if what Reggie is saying is true, that season 1 was just the fucking like, you know, whatever season, and then season 2 is like the follow up to a fucking Demon Train. Is like, yeah, this is the like good part of the show. I would argue that this would be anime of the year.
I'm gonna have to agree there. I mean, I think the only place... Okay, Jujutsu is a great anime, don't get me wrong
yeah.
here, but I think the only place that actually matches Demon Slayer is an animation quality. But when you're talking about story, character development, and like soundtrack and all that, I think Demon Slayer far surpasses Jujutsu Kaisen.
He's got a point. I have to agree. He's got a point. The man's got a
Spicy,
point.
spicy. I like
Speaks
it.
The truth.
I like it.
know? But Ray, we haven't heard from you in a while. What are your thoughts in here? Get in here.
You know, everybody just got like everything that I would definitely agree to. In terms of if this is gonna take over Jujutsu Kaisen, for me, I run a lot of like I watch like 3-4 different animes a day. So yeah, I'm pretty sure like I'd be able to talk with both. But which one would I be a lot more interested in? That's a hard shot. I'd probably say like Kimetsu no Yaiba for me. Like that's the one that I would like look most forward to for season 2. Jujutsu Kaisen, like it's good, but it does like it is Kimetsu no Yaiba is a lot more fleshed out though. I do think.
So I do have a theory actually. There, I will give Juju a chance to overtake Demon Slayer because I have a theory where I believe in the first episode of the podcast we compared Jujutsu Kaisen episode 20, the one where Goro does like fucking finger blast, to Demon Slayer episode 19.
Right.
But I have a theory that we haven't actually seen the episode 20 equivalent of Demon Slayer in Juju yet. I think that the Finger Blast episode was like the Demon Slayer episode where I can't remember his name, the like lightning kid has his big shining moment where he does this fucking like ultimate lightning move and cuts that spider's like head off. Oh man, so sick.
Oh,
I think we've seen that equivalent for Juju, but maybe we haven't seen the like fire breathing blood explosion episode yet from Juju. So I'm holding our breath. There's 1 or 2 episodes left of Juju. I'm not sure if it's gonna be 24 or 25 episodes, but we've got at least 1, 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, so I am hoping that within these next couple episodes, we'll see some huge, like, mega blow your mind episode, and that'll be where maybe it can give Demon Slayer a run for its money as like.
See, I think, and hear me out on this.
Yeah.
Coming back to like Jujutsu, I think you may be getting what you're wishing for because Jujutsu has been, just giving us a little taste that Sukuna might be coming back in this last couple episodes.
Man, he's been taking a back step the whole time. Like he's been backseat driver throughout the whole entire like arc. So I'm like, yo, when's his chance?
Yeah, they set the like little like time bomb earlier, right? Where he made his like pack, and then we didn't see him again. Right, that was it. It was like pack made. We saw him briefly when he fought the hands guy for like a sec. He was like, "Don't touch me." But after that, like he's been quiet. He's been waiting for his moment. I think
He has, and I think so too. I think the moment is coming, and so is the moment for a lot of the animes during this season. Here's hoping we can talk about them and see I'm a big season watcher along with Reggie here. This is my anime partner watcher. But the moment is also coming for the podcast to end, unfortunately.
Ah.
I know. You hate to see it. Mugen Train, we will give it 2 weeks. You have
2 weeks.
You have been warned. Because it will come out next month. It's coming out next month, and we will be talking about it 2 weeks from its release date. But without further ado, I will pass the mic off to our lovely host, Kazo, and he will see us off.
Much appreciate, Thicc Churro. So basically, to everyone else, though, much appreciate you guys tuning in, though. Especially to our podcast, we try to pretty much establish a full-fledged of topics that we pretty much can talk about to all you guys, though. For those of you guys who missed out on this episode here, we'll be putting on YouTube, and pretty much look forward to it when time comes. Definitely, it'll be on the Ichi YouTube channel, so definitely give us a subscribe for that. So thank you to Reiichi, Thicc Churro, Reggie, and of course Offbeat here for at least bringing in their views towards for each of the topics that we pretty much been establishing on. Though the fact that you guys been putting it on for and giving us your insight definitely proves the way that we pretty much can add on for more content in the future. So to our viewers watching, though, thank you guys for your support. Pretty much I give a shout out to Royal and Mr. BLT to actually talk about at least giving us some sort of input, and also to Bad Rice as well. I can't forget him. The fact that he's also pretty much giving us his insight on what anime title is supposed to be, or what at least his input for what Naruto FighterZ who he wants for his team. It's all love in there, all love and support. So if you want to check out us for more information, though, so my name's Kazo, as I like to pretty much put on for this F tier podcast, though. You can reach me through Twitter, through the Discord, especially on this channel here for the Twitch, and pretty much just about everything, including Facebook under Ichi Gaming. So for Reiichi, where can we find you?
You can watch me on Twitch at Reiichi1. I'm actually hoping to get my Shadowcast here soon, so I'm gonna start playing some Nintendo Switch games up in here. So
Nice.
I hope to you guys will go and watch it with me. Discord, you can reach me at Reiichi1 hashtag 9866. Just message me if you ever want to play some Dragon Ball FighterZ.
There you go. And for Thicc Churro, where can we find you, my brother?
You can find me beating kids in the parking lot.
Damn.
Wow.
At Dragon Ball FighterZ. You can find me beating kids in the parking lot at Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's what I thought,
Totally.
You can find me at Twitch TV /Thicc _Churro. That's it. That's the only place.
Awesome. And for Reggie, our newest guest into our F tier podcast, where can we find you, good sir?
Well, you can find me just at twitch.tv/rmjesus. I'm looking to start up my stream here pretty soon again. Took a bit of a hiatus. Going to be, clicking heads and hopefully getting some TODs in, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And last but not least, MTG's own Offbeat Hero. Where can we find you, sir?
You can find me on Twitch at offbeat _hero. You can also find me on Twitter by the same tag. Or you can search me up on YouTube to see all my old videos. And I'll also say that if you want to interact with us outside of the podcast, please join the HD Gaming Discord, where you can submit your own suggestions for our weekly topics, as well as chat with us directly. We're always looking for new and interesting things to give our terrible takes on, and we're always open to new ideas. So hit us up.
Awesome. So for that being said, though, for look forward for the next episode, guys. And remember, you got nothing to lose when you're at the bottom, because there is no fear in F tier. Tune in for next.
Hey.